All right, a little bit different ending than I anticipated, but we are in the future. That was the sound of time going by at some level.
Whipping by our ship. Where were you when Kubrick did 2001 that you couldn't have scored that film?
Well, I wasn't born yet, but I don't know if I would have worked well with him. What do you think of the two astronauts currently stuck in space? The anticipation is now maybe they can return home in early 2025. Boeing, as if they didn't have enough problems here on Earth. They can't get these astronauts home. There was some kind of, again, I don't know all the details, but failure with the ship or the mission to get them home, and now they just have to hope and pray they can get them back on the next ship that goes up in 2025.
Well, I try to work up empathy, sympathy, a warm feeling in my heart for people who go to the depths of the ocean in the fucking contraption, or the astronauts going to other galaxies and planets and everything. But then again, what the fuck? What do you it's not hopping on Interstate 65 to buzz down to Nashville for, some Hattie B's hot chicken. You're out in outer fucking space. I would think that it's like when people say, oh, he was killed in a skydiving accident. As far as I'm concerned, it should be an accident if you jump out of a fucking plane with a sheet tied to your back and live. So I appreciate the fine work that they're doing to further scientific study. And when I was a kid, I loved astronomy. My mom got me the telescope, had all the Time Life books. But I didn't want to go. I wanted somebody else to go and bring me back pictures. Tell me what the shit looked like. Figure some shit out that we can apply down here. But I never had the urge to go where no man has gone before. Does that make me an odd child, Brian?
Well, at this point, many men have gone where they've gone. It's not like they're in outer space. They're at the space station.
Well, but still, in the overall scheme of things, of the percentage of the human race that's been to outer space and gone to a space station or walked on the moon or whatever the case, it's still minute. And if I have my way, I'll keep it that way, at least for my participation.
What do you think of the people that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to fly briefly out of orbit so you get the no gravity sensation and then you come right back down?
Well, see, I don't want the no gravity sensation. That's why I don't want to get in a goddamn airplane. Have you ever been in the turbulence, not even the turbulence, but the air pocket, and it fucking drops? That's enough zero gravity for me that I don't want anymore. I don't do things at the fair that cause me to turn upside down. I want to stay close to the ground at a reasonable speed, observing safety precautions upright.
All right.
But anyway, that's the thing, is that I don't understand the people that just want to dive off the things or do whatever. But you asked about the people paying. If you've got millions of dollars to spend on something that's a hobby, bless you. Maybe take care of some sick kids. William Shatner, I can understand. What is he, 94 now or whatever?
Something like that, but to be fair, his hair is only 35.
Well, but so the average is still, he's averaging out to 70 or whatever. If he's lived this long and still is ambulatory and can just hop in the fucking spaceship and take a flight to outer space, then bless his little pea-picking heart. Because if something happens at this point, what's he shaving off of his lifespan?
Do you think we'll get a wrestling match in space in your lifetime?
Only if the astronauts get mad at each other while they're cooped up there by themselves.
Well, Jim, speaking of things that go up and down, the AEW ratings are in. Jim, here they are, the AEW ratings for August 7th, 2024, TBS, 8 to 10:05 p.m. On average, AEW Dynamite watched by 622,000 viewers.
Ouch. So
That's up 2% from last week.
up 2%. So they're really on a roll here. For context, they're in their regular time slot on their regular network, and they drew approximately 32 or 3% of what Raw did on a completely different station that is not usually on.
But again, the Olympics.
Did they have Olympics on Monday?
I think so, but I don't think it was as
They
prestigious.
were different Olympics?
It wasn't as prestigious as the Wednesday night Olympics.
So what? Lithuania was sweeping the fucking medal race on Monday and nobody cared. What?
I think Wednesday was a big one. It was Lithuania versus Vanderpump.
Did Vanderpump win? I've been pulling for him.
We don't hear about Vanderpump anymore, do we?
Perhaps they stopped pumping.
I think they moved to Tuesdays against NXT, but we never hear anyone complain about NXT's numbers in Vanderpump. But let's go to this.
All right, 622,000 people for this fiasco. Let's move forward.
These were compiled by WrestleNomics, quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. MJF versus Kyle Fletcher, 822,000 viewers.
Okay, I'm no mathematician here. I'm not fucking, a Rhodes Scholar when it comes to algebra or anything like that, but I see them headed for a fucking drop. If their average is 200,000 viewers lower than what they started with, but do go on.
Quarter 2, the continuation of MJF versus Fletcher, the post-match with Will Ospreay and Don Callis, the Bryan Danielson promo, Mariah May versus Viva Vaughn, with picture-in-picture, 732,000 viewers.
Okay, well, there went 100,000. And as we usually say, and it more or less is always true, the second quarter is where we really start. So they still looks like they got some diving to do, down like a circus seal.
Well, we go to quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The continuation of Van versus May, whatever her name is. The post-match with Timeless Tony Storm.
Ooh, time's up.
A Jack Perry video. An ad break. Jack Perry video. An ad break. Darby Allin backstage promo. Ed Katsuyori Shibata versus Brian Keith.
Shoo-poopy.
626,000 viewers.
Oh, mother of all creatures big and small. So that's another 206,000 viewers bailed in the first 45 minutes.
Well, we go to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. The continuation of Shapoopy versus Keith. The post-match with The Learning Tree and the return of Hook, Orange Cassidy's backstage promo, an ad break, and Hangman Adam Page's backstage promo, 587,000 viewers.
Holy shit. All right, to 13, 20, there goes 39,000. So now they're down. I'm trying to keep a running total, but there's so many numbers on the paper. 206, let's start 245,000. And when you hear the contents of those segments read out like that, you can kind of understand why, can't you?
Well, we go to the big 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m.
I'm no mathematics expert. I think they actually got to pick some up at this point to make the average.
Swerve Strickland's backstage interview with Jim Ross, and Roderick Strong, Roosh, and the Beast Mortos versus FTR and Orange Cassidy with picture-in-picture, 587,000 viewers.
So they stayed completely flat at the top of the hour. That's not usually a thing that's done, but they done did it.
Well, we go now to Quarter 6, the big 9:15 segment.
The big nine.
The continuation of the previous 6-man tag match with picture-in-picture ads, the post-match with the Acclaimed, the Patriarchy's backstage promo, and an ad break. 564,000 viewers.
Holy holy. Okay, they're 6,484, 23,000. So that means they've lost 268,000 from 8 p.m. Okay.
Well, we go to quarter 7, the big 9:30 to 9:45 segment. A hologram video.
Well, now we're going back up. Now they've saved it.
Camille versus Clara Carter and Jasmine Howe. Mercedes.
Get out of the way for Clara Carter. She's a smelly farter. Okay, go ahead.
Mercedes Monet's promo followed by Britt Baker's promo. They tried to make it sound like Britt Baker's promo was live. That was clearly taped, right?
Well, it was on the screen, and it was...
There was no interaction.
There was no interaction back and forth. It was a statement, and it was very well lit. Remember, I said the makeup was wonderful, so I thought they probably worked on that one for a while.
Followed by the Danielson-Strickland video and an ad break. 576,000 viewers. Also, the biggest bump up in the key demo from 236,000 to 263.
But see, hologram, we were wrong. Hologram is they got 12,000 people. So now they're only down 256,000 from the open.
I'm starting to think AEW's audience is a hologram, but let's go now to quarter 8.
You can see through a lot of them.
And I remind you, we have a 7-minute overrun. Quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett with picture-in-picture. 535,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord.
7-minute overrun with Swerve Strickland and Danielson's confrontation after the match. 516,000 viewers.
Oh, they lost on the overrun. Have they ever lost on the overrun?
It's happened a few times, yes. But this was for them, this was a show-long build to this match.
And Danielson. They didn't even, well, hold on, let me do the 41. So that, then they were down 297. Carry the 2, divide by 3, that's a double naught. And then they're down another, 6 to 19. So you got to save that over there. 7 divided by 13 is 21.
And by the way, just so you know, Big Bang Theory this week, 851,000 total viewers on average.
Ooh.
I don't have the key demo, but I have that.
So AEW did 29,000 less viewers than the lead-in from 7:30 to 8, which is a rerun of a situation comedy that's rerun 5 nights a week everywhere in the world. And they started with 822,000. They finished in regulation down 297,000 viewers, and their overrun cost them another 19,000 for a total loss of 316,000 from start to finish. Brian, I'm no mathematics expert, but what percentage of 822,000 is 316? I never asked this question the same way twice, do I? What percentage of their audience did they lose?
You never make it easy, no.
No, well, nobody said it was easy, baby.
So give me the numbers.
This is the rough, tough world of podcasting.
Give me the rough, tough numbers.
We got to do mathematics. Sometimes we got to spell.
God damn
it.
Shit. S-H-I-T.
All right. So, you start with 822,000.
Okay, hold on. I got to go the other way. 822,000.
And you end up with 516,000, which means you've lost 306,000.
What are you asking? What is the question? You're just throwing all sorts of numbers.
What percentage of their audience they started with did they lose by the end of it? So it's
516?
so 516 from it. They lost 306,000.
They lost
That's what they lost.
62.77%.
No, that can't be right.
Oh no, that's what percentage of 8. You
They
asked it in
kept
such a clean. Ugh.
Well, see, you got to be able to fucking follow along here when I'm doing this integral calculus.
Give me
that
the
they do in
300 number
college.
again that you came up with.
306,000 is what they lost. So they lost 38% of their audience, is what you're saying.
37.22 is what I'm saying.
Well, to be precise.
I wouldn't round up on that. That would become 37, not 38.
Well, then in that case, and we'll go with it as it is. So they lost almost 40%. Almost 4 out of 10 people that started watching this thing at some point or another said, "Oh, God damn it. Oh, Jesus Christ."
You know, and once again, a lot of people are ignoring the harsh realities, which are AEW has very limited star power because of the booking. AEW has burned a lot of fans because of the booking. You invest in a wrestler, sometimes they're just gone. There are wrestlers they have tried to make, they have to make them again because they've fucked it up, because Tony can't book.
The wrestlers they pick to make and continue to try to make and make and make that don't ever get made.
It's a bad show featuring a lot of people that fans don't care enough about. MJF's the one guy, and Ospreay's in limited exposure so far, but MJF's the one guy they got who's doing any business. But MJF could right now work a program with Ricky Steamboat and have the greatest matches ever. It won't matter. The long-term damage of Tony's booking. This isn't just like all of a sudden, oh, shit's really gotten bad. This is the end result. Or, getting to the end result, but this is what happens when you book a show like shit for years. When you feature people that fans don't care about for years. When you double down and triple down on things that don't work for years. This isn't just all of a sudden. MJF used to be able to pop it a lot better. It's not just because people stopped getting cable. It's because the people that had cable stopped watching AEW. And there's people who pretend, oh, it's because WWE's hot. Yeah, they're doing good wrestling TV shows. It works. What they're doing is working. AEW stopped working because of Tony. Because Tony can't book. But he's insistent on booking because this is all his project. And who in AEW means more today than it meant yesterday? Who? Who's still a draw? Who still matters? The people there that making all the money, amongst them, who really generates money and matters? They had Bryan Danielson, who's about to get a world title match. Has he ever meant less on a national stage since he was in Ring of Honor? Because he's not doing any business. No one tuned in at the end for this Jarrett thing. Technically, they built this up for weeks. Technically, they built us up for the show.
Technically, they were friends 2 weeks ago.
Again, that's AEW storytelling. It's bad. It lacks. But they've been building it up. No one cared. Whatever was happening at the Olympics, no one said, let me just check to see what's going to happen with that match. No one. AEW has driven themselves into the ground. Tony has booked himself into the ground. There's a lot of people who get along with Tony or want to get along with Tony, who won't come out and just say the flat out truth that everyone knows, that everyone quietly will say, unless they'll outwardly say it like we do. Tony can't book. He can't run a company and he can't book. And AEW is in the situation they're in now because of Tony, because of stubbornness, because of bad decisions. The people that thought MJF should have gotten suspended too after the Britt Baker thing. Maybe Tony learned his lesson about fucking with your top draw because someone who doesn't matter on the show has a problem with them.
Somebody should get suspended because they gave somebody a piece of their mind for running their pie hole.
But it's just,
that would be lovely.
You still see the excuses.
You missed one point there. This was also a situation where, while all those things that you just enumerated were going on, where they started with was Tony had a company that the people wanted to love, that they wanted to support, that they wanted to see succeed, that they were overly smoking the hopium about because of the fact that they hated the other company because it was mismanaged and creatively and morally bankrupt or whatever the fuck, and they had heat with the fans. And Tony has taken this golden opportunity, and while he's driven his product headfirst into the porcelain throne, they have brought in a fucking pest control service and eradicated most of the pestilence over to the other place, and the people love him now. So he lost that opportunity because he dicked around doing this. He had 5 years. And they completely turned their PR around and completely turned their creative around and completely turned their talent roster around. And so did Tony. In opposite directions. I rest my case, Joanna.
But you still see the excuses. You know, it's the competition, it's the Olympics, it's WWE being hot. It's Tony. WWE being hot does not mean that AEW can't book or can't format good. The formatting, to just look at the fucking ratings breakdown quarter by quarter. How many backstage promos were thrown into this show? How many matches with people that no fan is invested in whatsoever? Shibata, they have shoved Shibata down everyone's fucking throat. No one cares. No one cares. Remove his brain. Maybe someone will care. No one cares about Brian Keith. No one cares about the Jericho thing. He's driven away enough audiences as it is. No one cares about anything Danielson's doing. No one cares about the world champion, although give him credit, his big 9 o'clock hour held the 587 number. They've got MJF and nothing else. They went right from the MJF stuff right to the women's division, and you saw the audience drive right down, and then it kept going down. The only thing that could have driven it down further is if they had had the Elite all over this show. That's the only thing. And they're not even on this show right now. They're collecting their paychecks that they can't earn because they don't mean anything to the company. It's a sinking ship that will never sink. And I think anyone there with any talent or a brain, you have to look at other options unless you find out that there is some option for AEW that doesn't have Tony Khan running the show. It's chaos. The TV shows are formatted bad. It's booked bad. The commentating is world-class awful. And nothing is getting better. And they're taking the people that matter and making them mean less. Horrible show. It's amazing this number is this high.
And now we have rechristened AEW. From this point forward, it will be known as the Flying Dutchman, the ghost ship that will never sink. It's out there in the ether, haunting the ocean.
Oh my God, there's water coming in. No, everything's great. Oh, all right. We'll just sail along. Let the water come in. Yeah.
Do you know how to swim? No, but I'll be all right. Have you ever driven in America before? No, but we'll be all right.
Hey, that hole in the boat is so big, the talent are swimming out of it. What do we do? Just keep going forward. Keep going to Shad Island.
Wait a minute, my pet rat just jumped overboard. What should I do?
I'm going to leave that one to you. I'm not going to make any comment on the pet rat of whoever's driving the ship.
All right, anyway.
Those are the Dynamite ratings. You would have to think if you were Shad Khan, you may want to say, where's my money? Tony, you're my son, but I'm going to sue.
You know, I'll tell you what. It is certainly a legal situation developing here. There's going to be somebody at liable for this catastrophic failure. And when that happens, when you find out who you blame, who is liable, who is responsible, and you want to bring them to heel, as they say, you want to make them pay and pay big, you might want to make them cry. You might want to make them start stripping off their clothes like they're at a nudist colony. They're sweating. They're sweating like hookers in church. I'm telling you that they might need sugar in their bloodstream to carry on. You want to see this man in action as he cross-examines the guilty and brings the perpetrator into justice.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Still to the rest.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the law office of Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com. 877-50-STEVE if you want to get in contact with him because you've got a perpetrator on the prowl. You've got somebody who's been negligent, who's been cruel, inhumane, and crossed the lines of civil courtesy, and they need to be brought in and made to explain themselves and potentially recompensate you. See, that's Stephen P. New gets you so much money, you have to add syllables onto the words. You'll be recompensated for things that you have lost, and people will be forthcoming in doing it, or elsewise they will suffer the wrath of having to turn over records of their entire lives and everything they've ever done. Because he'll haul it all out and shine the bright disinfectant of sunlight on their nefarious backroom dealings. And they're playing fast and loose with not only their bookkeeping, but the legal system as well. And he might alert government authorities if people have been engaging in improper conduct. That's all things that this man is going to do to a no-good Weasley son of a gun.
He may cut off your chocolate supply.
He may cut off your chocolate, pal. And then how would you feel? You know, it's all because Stephen P. New will give a man one chance to do the right thing, and then he will fuck him up. And if you've got somebody you'd like to see fucked up, and you can prove something, well, by golly. Now, Stephen doesn't do unauthorized fucking people up, unless you've got a case now. It just can't be just because you want to get even. But boy, howdy, he will bring the legal system down on anybody that has screwed you around. 877-50-STEVE, newlawoffice.com.
You have never seen anything like him deposing someone. It makes you feel really good to have him on your team. I'll say that.
It makes you feel really good to know that there is a beacon of truth and light out there in the world, even if that beacon is only about 5 feet 7 inches tall. He don't have to bend over far to take a bite out of your ass.
I don't know why you had to bring up his height. What the hell was that about?
Because he's a bulldog, is what he is.
He's a coal miner's son.
I was born a coal miner's son.